If you don't know about me, I've been playing piano ever since I was a little tyke, right? You could see on the far left there, that's my mom holding me up at the piano. On the far right, that's me playing in high school. I did go to Berklee College of Music, graduated in '93. Went for film music composition. So great school, had learned a lot and made a lot of nice friends and connections there. All right, so let's start by talking about the real challenges of online lessons, because there are some. Having enough time to practice is not the problem. I know that some students say that, oh, I don't have enough time. The reality is, even if you could practice for 5 minutes a day, you can get something together. And you can always practice away from the piano as well, and I talk about that quite a bit on the site and in lessons. So having the time is not really the issue. The other issue is certainly not having access to enough lessons. With over 1,000 lessons on the Jazzedge Academy site and over 200 classes recorded and new classes happening every week, it's definitely not about having enough content or material to work on. The real challenge is knowing what to practice and how to practice it. Now, Willie, how do you know that? Well, number one, I've been doing this online for over 20 years, so I've had a lot of data and I've heard that from students time and time again. Where do I start? What do I practice? What do I do next? Those are always the top 3 questions that students have. And I get it. It makes perfect sense. All right, so this is a recent survey that I did, and you'll see at the very top is knowing what to practice. So I asked students what their biggest challenge is. Knowing what to practice was number 1. Number 2 was improvising, then memorizing songs, and then number 4 was finding the time to practice. All right, so now that's just one type of student. There are many different students, right? So like a more beginner student might need to know exactly, well, what is it that I need to practice? But a more intermediate to advanced student might need more teacher feedback. So for instance, here student A needs more guided practice, where student B needs less guided practice but more teacher feedback. So remember, piano lessons are not a one-size-fits-all. Everyone is different. Everyone comes to the site looking for something different, and they have different goals in mind. That's why it's so difficult, really, for all of us who are in the online music space to be able to say, hey, look, you should do this, then this, then this, then this. You know, sites have their learning tracks, their learning paths, their learning whatever, you know, and they have it all listed out. But that doesn't always work for every single student, right? A student really needs more direction than that. This is why we need a teacher to guide us. We need a teacher to motivate us. We need a teacher to push us. So if you think about like if you go to the gym, right? You have a trainer. And if you've ever worked with a trainer, you know that when you're working with a trainer, they're pushing you. And when you go and you work by yourself, a lot of times you don't push yourself in the same way. It's just human nature. We don't have to beat ourselves up about it. It's just the way that it is, okay? So it can be challenging, though, to find that live teacher. You know, depending on where you're located, depending on the skill set of the teachers in the area, you might not be able to find, actually, a local teacher who you could work with live. In addition to that, private lessons can be cost prohibitive for some students, and i.e. you should read expensive, right? They're not cheap to take private lessons. I did a Google search here. Piano lessons typically cost between $40 and $90 per hour, and the average price for a 1-hour piano lesson in this area is $80 per hour, all right? So that could be quite a bit. Online lessons obviously are much more cost-friendly and they're much more economical. Jazzedge Academy, if you have a lessons-only membership, it costs 4 cents per lesson based on a monthly membership. If you take $39 a month for a monthly membership and then you divide it by 1,000 lessons, that's 4 cents per lesson, okay? Pretty darn cheap for you to be able to have access to a library of 1,000 lessons. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about premier courses. So online lessons also have their downsides as well, right? So most online programs have a limited amount of one-on-one time, right, with the teacher. Well, why is that? Well, because time equals money. right? So a teacher is not going to be able to work one-on-one with a student if they're paying $39 a month, right? It just doesn't work out. I mean, if a student will normally be paying $80 an hour for a private lesson, well, you can't sign up on an online site for $39, $29, whatever the price is, and expect that you're going to get one-on-one attention from a teacher. Usually, if you're going to get any attention at all, it's going to be in a group class. So typically, more one-on-one time is going to mean more dinero, right? It's going to be more money to have to pay for that one-on-one time. Like, for instance, here's a Berkeley course, okay? This is exactly from Berkeley Online, all right? In fact, I just took this today, so you could look up this course and you could see this is exactly the price. So it costs $1,300 if you don't want a credit and $1,545 if you're looking for a credit. And this is a 12-week course. Starts in January and goes to March 31st, right? Now, Berkeley, well worth it, right? I mean, it's a great school. I'm not going to talk bad about Berkeley. It's my alma mater, right? So it's a great school and you would learn a ton. But for a lot of students, for 12 weeks, right, for 3 months there, that's kind of a lot, right, to be spending $1,500 for that amount of time, all right? So the other thing too is, like, you might say, okay, well, what about the live coaching, right? You know, like some sites, you know, they have like group coaching or whatnot, or office hours, or, you know, hang with me, or like whatever they're calling it. And it's usually multiple students, right? But that doesn't work for many students. Well, how do I know that? Because I've been doing this online live for over a decade. That means that I've been doing these live sessions just like this today for over a decade. Long before a lot of these sites even became online, I was doing online stuff. So that's given me, and I don't say that to brag or anything like that. That's not why I'm saying it. I'm saying that because I have an interesting vantage point, because I have a lot of data to be able to work from, right? I can kind of see and read the tea leaves a little bit more because I've worked with thousands of students over the years and been doing this for so long. So I know what works with students, and I also know what hasn't been working with students. So first of all, it's difficult to get students of the same level together. I tried doing it, right? We tried doing our separate group coaching classes based on level and stuff. And the problem is you might get 2 students in this level, and then 2 students over there, and then 20 students in that level. So it's very difficult to be able to get students to be in different buckets based on their ability level. And the reality is, most students that are have different ability levels, if you're an absolute beginner, a lot of times you don't want to share, you know, your playing and your mistakes with somebody who's been playing much, much longer than you and is a much more advanced student. I get it. It's human nature. It makes perfect sense. I'm not sure I would want to do it either if I was an absolute beginner. So, like I say, many students are cautious about sharing videos of their playing, especially when they're in a group of other students, sometimes regardless of the other student's level. Even if it's all beginners, a lot of times students don't want to share their videos. Again, I know this because I've been doing this for so long, and I still continually do this now in my classes, my Creative Pianist Toolkit class, asking students, okay, submit a video. I get it. They don't want to do it, right? So I always kind of think to myself, why? You know, why is it that students don't want to do it? And it makes perfect sense, because students feel a little self-conscious about sharing, especially if they don't feel like they're at a certain level. Students do like to ask questions, though, right? As long as they're not playing, right? So, and that's great. So that means that it's not, that tells me that the problem isn't being online, it's not asking questions, it's not putting yourself out there, but putting yourself out there musically is yet another challenge for students. So these are some of the challenges that we have with online lessons. I've created the solution, though, right? And I think that this is really going to work well for many, many students. And I got to tell you, this is a program that I really think I'm most proud of this program. I really think that once I show this to you, it looks so slick, it works so well, and I really think that students are just going to knock it out of the park with this program. So, first of all, the problem. You need practice guidance, right? So students need practice guidance. They need teacher feedback. If you don't have teacher feedback, how are you going to know if you're doing the right stuff, right? For most students, it's very, very difficult for them to know if they're on track if they're not getting that feedback. It also needs to be cost-friendly, right? $1,500 for a college-level course, yeah, it's well worth it, right? but it's also outside of the budget for a lot of students. And then most importantly, the program must serve the student, not the other way around. Meaning that the program needs to be designed with the student in mind, not trying to force the student into a particular type of program. All right, so Premier Courses. This is what we're doing, all right? Premier Courses are the new thing, and Premier Courses, like it says, stop searching, start learning. So let's get into what Premier Courses are. So first of all, they are manageable 8-week semesters. Okay, so the courses will run in 8-week semesters. The first course is going to be running on January 15th, so it's going to go from January 15th until March 15th. In that 8 weeks, we have 6 weeks of lessons, okay, 6 weeks of lessons and live sessions. And then we have a 2-week buffer time in which that gives you the opportunity to review the material, and it also gives you the opportunity to be able to participate in a end of course recital, if you want to. Remember, everything is optional. You don't have to if you don't want to. In addition to recorded classes, we also have live classes as well. Right? So you will have a recorded class, and then we will have a live class later. This I have found is to be superior than to just doing live classes or recorded classes. And I've done it all. I have hundreds of hours of recorded classes, and I have hundreds of hours of live classes. I've been doing a lot of stuff recently, which I kind of record the class live and students can ask questions. But I realized that, well, how can a student ask me a question about a lesson that I'm teaching right then and there, right? Willie, right? They need some time to process it to be able to figure out what questions they have. So in these new Premier courses, you're going to have a lesson that's released at the beginning of the week, and then a week later, we're going to have a live session, right? So the live session comes after that recorded video. I say a week later, it's going to depend really on the course and on the teacher. But the point is, you'll have the recorded video first, and then the live session will be at a later time, usually a few days later. That gives you the opportunity to take a look at the recorded video and then join in the live class to ask whatever questions you have. And in the live class, we're not doing oh, hey, submit your video and let me show you your video. I mean, you can if you want, but that's not what the focus of those live classes is going to be. The focus of the live classes is going to be to answer questions. There are also going to be weekly assignments. Weekly assignments, you're going to have a video, you're going to know exactly what the assignment is, and then you're going to have the opportunity to submit a video back, right? Now, that assignment is also going to get graded. Right, I'm going to show you this in just a couple of seconds. All right, so so that assignment is graded by the teacher, and you either get a pass grade or you get a needs more work grade. Okay, and then the teacher will give you their thoughts on it and maybe even submit a video as well to show you what it is you need to do. So these weekly assignments right there. Perfect. That's a great way of staying focused. You got your recorded lesson, you got your live lesson, you got your weekly assignment, you could submit your weekly assignment and you get a teacher grade a few days later. Right there, boom, boom, that would be more than enough to be successful with Premier Courses. But no, we have more. We have an industry first. I have not seen anyone else online do this. Practice actions. So practice actions are short videos taken from the larger video. And I don't necessarily mean taken as in we're going to just take a snippet. I mean that we're going to take the idea from the larger video, the class video, and then we're going to make shorter, like 1 to 3 minute long videos that are going to tell you exactly what it is that you need to practice, right? So that's going to be stuff like, okay, like do this, you know, I want you to do that 10 times in a row. Try doing it with a metronome with the, you know, on 100 beats per minute. So be real short, sweet, to the point. You'll be able to watch that video, and this is going to be a game changer because now when you're trying to figure out what do I practice, you don't have to go through the whole video. Of course, I suggest that you watch the entire lesson, right? But now you'll be able to go into each of these practice actions and be able to watch these short videos, short, to the point, right there, and then you'll be able to know exactly what it is you have to be practicing. There's absolutely zero ambiguity. All you're going to do is follow the practice action, boom, you're done, right? So practice actions are really going to change the whole online game for our Premier courses. It's really going to be a game changer for you. If any of you have thought, like, I don't know what to practice, I don't know what to do next, I don't know how to stay focused, I don't know how to stay motivated, this is it right here. This is what's going to get you there, because like I said, these short, sweet, to the point videos are going to like tell you exactly what it is that you need to be working on. So remember our problem. We need practice guidance, we need teacher feedback, it needs to be cost friendly, it must serve the student, right? That's what we're looking for in an online program. Well, Premier Courses most definitely gives you that practice guidance, right? You get your weekly assignment, you have your practice actions, okay? So right there, that tells you exactly what it is you need to be working on. It's perfect. Teacher feedback. You get the feedback right with that weekly assignment, right? Teacher will reply back and give you a pass or needs more work grade on that, so you know exactly where you stand in the course. Cost friendly, I'm going to be talking about that because we have a sale coming up in a couple of days and the Premier courses are going to be set on sale, and I'll talk about that in a second. Serving the student. When I designed Premier courses, I had you in mind. Okay, and what I mean by that is not just curriculum, right? Those of you who know me know that I'm a curriculum pedagogy kind of guy, like all step by step, do this, that, like real step by step. So that, of course, is always going through my brain. But while I designed the Premier courses, I was also thinking about speed and efficiency of being able to use it from a phone to a tablet, or tablet to a desktop, right? So it works seamlessly from phone all the way up to a desktop, right? It looks gorgeous on all of your devices. Even the menu, right? We're going to be redoing the menu, so the mobile menu is going to be much more responsive and much, much easier to use and make it so that you could find everything that you want, even if you're on a small screen. So let's take a peek. But before we take a peek, please understand that I'm still working on the design, so there's still a little tweaks that have to happen because the course really doesn't come out until January 15th, okay? So let's take a peek. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be off screen for right now. Well, let me come back on screen. I'm going to be off screen, so I don't mean to be rude, but I want to get off screen so that you could see the full site, okay? And I will be back with you, all right? But rest assured, here I am. All right, so this is the Premier course screen. You could see all of this. This will get released on Thursday, so you'll be able to actually come to this page. All right, you'll be able to watch video, talk about what Premier Courses is all about. Okay, you could see your FAQs. Okay, and then based on your questions today, that's going to fill this out as well. So please do ask your questions because I'm going to be putting some of those answers right in this FAQ section. You'll be able to read all of this, right? But it's structured in an 8-week semester, and once it's done, you could participate in a recital. You could continue to review the material. You could take a break, or you could do all of the above. All right. They're a game changer because you have very specific practice goals, right? So you can see 8-week semesters, bite-sized lessons, practice actions, your weekly assignments, you got live sessions, and then this is talking about how it keeps you on track. The next semester begins January 15th, and the following course will be running in the coming semester. So the Creative Pianist Toolkit is going to be our first Premier course that's going to be running. You could see that it is a level 2 course. If you click on level explanation, it'll explain to you what these different levels are. Let me move that over a little bit so you can see it. Okay, so level 2, good for an intermediate player that's been playing for at least a year or more. All right, so if you're an absolute beginner, this is probably not the course for you to start with. All right. When you come down here, you can see the pricing. That is when the sale is going to end. The sale, like I said, is going to begin on Thursday. I have the prices blurred out because the sale is not ready yet. But I do want to let you know that there are 2 ways in which you can access the Premier courses. Right? So one way to access the Premier course is through a Premier membership. And I got some special changes for the Premier membership. that I think most students are really going to like, okay? So be sure to join me on Thursday because I'm going to explain all of that. So one way is with a Premier Level membership. With a Premier Level membership, you'll be able to access all of the Premier Level courses, all Premier courses you'll be able to access. The other way of accessing the course is to just purchase the course. You could buy the course and then you have lifetime access to the course. Something important to remember though, all right, is that the courses run just like a college course, meaning that there is a time when the course starts and there is a time when the course ends. Let's move on, and I'm going to get to that and explain that to you. So let's move on to the course dates here, and then this will make a little bit more sense for you. All right, so first of all, you see that the course is released on December 19th. That date is actually wrong. It's actually going to get released on Thursday, which is going to be the 21st, okay? The start date is January 15th. The end date is March 15th, and Premier Access expires a month later on April 16th. 2024. So if you click on this, what happens when Premier Access expires? You could go ahead and read through all of that, but I'm just going to go ahead and explain that to you. So as a Premier Level member, all right, you can watch all of these Premier courses. You also get an extra 30 days after the course has finished to be able to view the course. After that expiration date, then you won't be able to view the course again. You'll have to wait till it comes around again. All right, it's just like a college level course, right? When you have Piano 101, Theory 101, Theory 102, Piano 102, right? Those all run at different times throughout the year. It's not like you take a college level course and you can just keep coming back to the teacher for years and years and years and asking questions, right? Usually the teacher's like, okay, I got office hours, you come during office hours, and if you're not an enrolled student, well, then you can't come to office hours, right? So you'll be able to re-enroll in courses if you want, but the idea is that this is now going to allow us to be able to have courses like a college level courses, right? So a course will run, and then it's expired, and then it runs again, it's expired, runs again, so on and so forth, right? Now if you purchase the course, you own it outright, okay? So the main thing to understand is the start date and the end date. That's the time when the course is live. Okay, I'll give you a for instance. We're coming up to Christmas right now, okay? And there's gonna so typically what happens now is college level courses, right? They've finished up, and now they're gonna take like a couple week break, and they're gonna start up again in January. So imagine if like in a college level course, you're taking the course, it's October, November, beginning of December, and it kind of wraps up, say December 15th, and then everyone goes home for the winter break. The teacher is not going to be answering and grading stuff over the winter break for students, right? The course is done, right? So the teacher should have finished all that up by the end of the course, right? And then certainly come next year, students aren't going to go back to that teacher and say, hey, look, can you grade this for me, right? You're no longer part of the course, right? So that's an important thing to understand. There's a start date and there is an end date to the course. While the course is live, you can get teacher feedback, you can join in on all the live sessions. When the course has ended, if you have purchased the course, you can continue to review all of that material. Nothing goes away for you. The only difference is you just won't get any, you won't be able to submit assignments. There aren't going to be any live Q&A classes, right? If you're a Premier member, like I said, you get that extra 30 days once the course ends. In that time, you can't submit assignments, but you can at least go back and review the material. Hopefully that all makes sense. All right, moving on. So you see here you have your live session dates. And I tried to make this very simple. You can, if you just click on any one of these headers, it will expand or contract them. You can see who the instructor is, that guy, right? You can see what your course requirements are. You can see a course syllabus. Okay? You can see what our objectives are for the course. And for those of you who are taking Creative Pianist Toolkit right now, I sent out a survey asking what you would want for Creative Pianist Toolkit, like Volume 2, Session 2. What songs? Well, here they are. These are the ones that came up top, Green Onions and Let It Be. So these two songs are going to be the two that we're going to be working on in this course in the new year. Really kind of cool tunes too. Green Onion is real kind of a cool, groovy kind of tune, and then Let It Be, obviously a classic. In fact, I thought we had it on the site. I was surprised that we didn't have it on the site. So anyway, so now we will, right? So those are going to be the songs that we're going to be working on in the coming year. All right, so now let's move on. Let's take a look on the inside, what it actually looks like inside. All right, so when I come into the course, right, so if I'm in here and I click on View Course, okay, this comes and it brings me to a whole list of all of the classes in that course. Okay. Now this still needs a little bit of tweaking. The ordering here is a little bit wrong, but you could see if the class has not been released, it's going to tell you exactly what the release date is. And I've added in time zone support now. So now this will show in your time zone. You just click on Change Time Zone. It's telling you what time zone it's in right now. America, Los Angeles, right? So it's West Coast time. So if you wanted to change it, you click change. You could change it to whatever you want. You can also change the way that the dates are presented. If you want it month, day, year, or day, month, year, you can do that as well. So then you can simply just join the Zoom session and away you go. Now the classes, you can, so obviously this one is not released yet, but what I want to show you here is that you can click and play the class video. That's the main video. It's not the practice actions and all that, just the main video on this main page. Again, this is where this is serving you, the student. I'm trying to make it easier for you. So at a glance, if you want to be able to just watch the video and then get to a certain spot in it, then bam, there you go. And the other beauty is all of these players use the Jazzedge player, which means that you could slow it down, you can loop it, all of that good stuff, right? So a very, very robust player. I've also tried to make it so that it's very easy for you to be able to navigate. So you have like these collapse or expand all buttons here. So now I can easily go in and collapse or expand so I don't have to view the entire list all expanded. Right? So now let's take a look at these two classes here. So you see in the arranging class, I've already completed all of my practice actions. I took the quiz. I did not submit an assignment. Right? In the theory one, I'm about 25% through my practice. I took my quiz and I also submitted my assignment, and I could see I got a passing grade. All right, so let's go back to this. Let's go to this theory one and take a look at what it looks like inside. So inside, you'll see that you have, once again, an easy way to be able to expand and collapse these different sections just by clicking on that little icon there. You can get back to the course list. You can also click on the title, and that would take you back to the class list. Sorry, I should say class list, not course list. And you can also move between the classes right up here as well. So I made it so that there are many different ways in which you can navigate back easily to be able to go to different classes without having to do a lot of moving around the site. All right, so you click on this, that's your recorded lesson. It might be a 20-minute lesson, 30-minute lesson, whatever. You need help, you click over here. There's going to be a video tutorial that will fly out. Again, you can collapse and expand all of this stuff. If you want to review the class, this is great because this lets us know what we're doing right or what we're doing wrong in the class. So this is important. And this is the holy grail right here, your practice actions. With your practice actions, this tells you exactly what it is you need to do. Now, of course, once again, remember, this is just kind of a sample right now. This is not a live class. So here, you could see this one is a green check mark. That means that I already did it. If I click on view, I'm going to get the video right here. I could see I completed this today, December 19th, and I could just go ahead and hide that. If I want to mark this as not completed, all I have to do is just simply go over here and click on reset, and then it's reset. I can go down to my next practice action. I could go ahead and click play, watch this video. Oh, I'm done. Go ahead and mark complete, and then immediately that turns green, and I can hide it, and it's super simple, right? So if I go through here and I do the next one, all right, great. So I've done all of that practice. I'm in good shape, okay? Come down here, class resources. This is where I could find my sheet music, my backing tracks, all of that. I also have different recommended lessons, if appropriate, right? So if I talk about a recommended lesson within a class, or a teacher talks about a recommended lesson, that will show up here. Again, an easy way for you to be able to move right to that lesson. So paying attention and technique. Rather than you having to go onto the site and type in search and try and find this lesson, no, instead it's right here with a direct link. It'll take you right to that lesson. Your assignment. Here's the assignment. Okay, now this one, I already uploaded an assignment. So you uploaded a video, click here to view it. I could click on that, it's gonna take me to the video. I also uploaded a file. I could click on the file and it'll show me that file, okay? If I need help, I click here, how to upload to YouTube, and there's a nice tutorial on how I upload to YouTube. I click on this, that will play the video for the class assignment, right? So there's no ambiguity. I don't have to read anything. I could just watch that video and see exactly what the teacher is expecting me to do for that week. And then here's my teacher grade. And then this is what the teacher said. Great, keep it up. Notice in the video how I'm keeping my left hand steady. Try playing with the metronome at 100 beats per minute. This is the teacher video. I could go ahead and click and play that. And all of that is saved within my account. And this is what the power is. That teacher response is directly to me. That's not to all other students. When I upload as a student my assignment, right? Everyone doesn't see that. Only the teacher gets to see that. So when you take that Creative Pianist Toolkit Volume 2 Premiere course with me in January and you upload your assignment, I'm the only one that sees that assignment. I will grade that assignment and I will respond back to you, maybe text, maybe video, maybe both. Okay, but then you will be able to get a response directly back from me based on your video, right? So if you have a question, you can ask the question in the video as well, right? So this is an incredible way to be able to have a back and forth with the teacher, right? This is like a college level course. In fact, if you go to Berkeley Online, you take a look at their courses, this is the kind of stuff that you get, right? But I will tell you, this is not Berkeley Online pricing. That's the key. I've made it much, much more cost effective for students to be able to take these courses and be able to learn and get to that next level. Then you have quizzes as well. I can expand this. I already took the quiz. Now I can just click, show the answer. Oh, all right, that was the question. All right, and then, oh, I got the wrong answer. Of course, this is just a dummy quiz right now anyway. We also have notes. I can take my notes in here. And there is a user forum just for Premiere courses. So you could click on View Post. It'll take you to the post, and you can go ahead and respond and communicate with me and your fellow students in the user forum. Right? So all of this is nicely neat on one page. It's been designed from the ground up. You could see that it just really flows quite nicely. You have a lot of nice little accoutrements in here to be able to hide things, to be able to show things so that you know. And if I go back to my main page here, I was at 25%. I'll go ahead and I'll reload that. And now, here I am, 75%, exactly as I should be, all right? So, and if I don't want to see that, let me just hide that, okay? And then I can stay focused on what it is that I need to stay focused on, all right? So, like I've said, Premiere courses are really a game changer. With our Premiere courses, you can really take your playing to new heights, okay? I mean, I know that's tossed around a lot, but it's true, right? Typically, you know, you would have to go to a university or a college to be able to get this kind of education. Most of the online programs that I see out there are, here's a lesson, go ahead and learn the lesson. Here's the sheet music, maybe they have some MIDI thing or whatever, like lights and flashing on the screen and all that. Okay, fine, nothing wrong with that. I'm sure the lessons are great, but the practice actions, breaking down what it is you need to do into short, succinct little videos. You can think of that as like my Jazzedge practice curriculum on the dashboard, right? All of those short little videos just tells you exactly what you need to do, and it's right at your fingertips because you know what? You're busy. I'm busy. We're adults. I get it. You don't have time to go through a 30-minute, 40-minute, 1 hour, hour and a half, 2 hour long video to be able to take out the stuff that you need. I get it. So this is why we're doing these practice actions. This is why this is going to be a game changer for you. Because now, let's put our cards on the table, right? If you say now, well, I don't know what to practice, I got nothing else for you, right? It's like, this is it, right? Or if you say, I don't know what I should do next, it's like, did you follow it? Just start there, then go down, then go down, then go down. It's super, super simple. Anybody can figure it out. It's not a complicated system to be able to use. All right, so having those practice actions, having the weekly assignment, having the live class, having the recorded class separate from the live class, all of this stuff is what's going to make Premier courses really change your piano life in 2024. All right, and I don't say that as a marketing guy. I really honestly believe this. I really honestly believe that this is the stuff that has been missing with online lessons. Group classes, yeah, sure, that's great. But the problem with group classes, we've already talked about it, right? It doesn't work for everyone. It works for some, but it doesn't work for everyone. Now that you have the ability to privately submit your video to a teacher, privately, at that point, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, well, now that's a whole nother mountain that you got to climb, right? But I think that there's going to be a lot more students that feel much more comfortable doing that than would feel comfortable just sharing a video on Zoom with a bunch of people that they don't know, right? And it takes a while for that rapport to build up. And quite frankly, 8 weeks is probably not enough to have that rapport build up in an online setting for a student to feel comfortable submitting, their practice videos and practice failures or what they think is a failure, right? So the Premier course, just really hands down, I really think that this is going to be the stuff that's really going to change a lot of piano players' lives, quite frankly, and their direction for 2024. All right, so let me answer some of your questions now. All right, so I'm going to go in here and see what questions we have. So if you have questions, please feel free to write in because I'm only going to stay online for as long as there are questions, okay? And remember too, there's a little bit of a delay, like about 30 seconds. So I'm gonna give a little bit of time right now and just say this again to give you the opportunity. Now, here's the thing. If you have a longer question, you don't have time to write all of that, just simply say, I have a question, and I will wait to see, or put, I have a question, ... And I know, okay, you're typing up a question, and I will wait for you. All right, so first of all, let me just say hello to everyone that's on. Jean-Marc, on, Todd, Michelle. Hey, Michelle, nice to see you. Yeah. David, hope the hand is doing well. I saw the picture that you sent me. It looks like it's improving, so good for you. I'm happy to hear that. Alan, Scott, Alejandro, Rex, Bruce, Clarice, Daria, Bruce, Osnosis. So hello, everybody, and that's just everyone who chatted in to say hello. I know there's many more of you on, so thank you for joining me today. I really do appreciate that. All right, so let's talk about some of these questions here. Alejandro, my problem is theory and how to apply it, practical. All right, so right there, that's where these courses are going to help. So I have an idea, like I did my practical music theory and reharmonization class, right, a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago now. And my thought is when Paul does his blues piano Premier course, I think I'm going to do a practical music theory and reharmonization class again, right? So that will be up there again. Not the same course, it's going to be an updated course, but in that course, again, showing you more how to actually apply this theory. But in the meantime, if you have not checked out the Practical Music Theory and Reharm class, and we abbreviate that as PMTR, Practical Music Theory Reharm, right? If you haven't checked that out, I would definitely check that out because that would definitely help, right? Especially with the tritone subs and all of that. But in March, I want to show all of you, especially those of you who join me in my PMTR